even later, even in the 90s, there were close to 1 million of mostly Russian-speaking Jews from the Soviet Union that came to Israel. And there are several towns here until today where you can see concentrations of Russian shops. You even see Russian signage sometimes in several of the towns, especially on the coast. Many of our Russian or former Soviet Jewish brothers, they love the coast, they love the beaches and the warm weather, and that's where they tend to settle often. So there is a very noticeable connection between the Russian-speaking Jews, the Russians in Russia, and Israel as well. Now, these close cultural and ties between peoples always translated also into a relatively close political connection. At the beginning, for the first couple of years, the Soviet Union was even closer to Israel than the United States, despite this, of course, changing soon. But even afterwards, Russia and Israel always had relatively good relations, despite the close relations between the US and Israel. Also, or especially during the early years of current President Putin's tenure as president of Russia, he and Netanyahu always had very close personal relations. And this peaked during the, let's say, the early 2010s until 2015, 16, 17, where there were frequent meetings between Israeli officials and Russian officials. Netanyahu visited Moscow several times in those years. And all of this continued even though Russia entered the Syrian civil war and established a massive military presence right on Israel's border. But despite this, due to the good relations between the leaderships, Israel continued to strike Iranian presence in Syria, and always did this in very close coordination with the Russian forces, so as not to harm Russian forces by maybe strike by mistake the Russian forces there.